Hey, what's going on, guys? Peety here. So I got a question in one of my last YouTube videos talking about, I'll just read it. For beginners, which units would be the best units to upgrade most to against higher level players? Which unit is most suitable for most situations? So I wanted to answer that question and kind of give you guys some advice on it. So I made another video and it talked about which unit you guys should go and, or like which like class tree, tech tree. And you guys can go back and watch that video if you'd like to, but I'll just give some little cliff notes. Basically, airmen, you're in the sky. To get the officers and stuff, it's pretty cheap. Tanker, you're on the ground. You get early game advantage, and you kind of fall off late game. Airman is very, very good late game. And then Cannoneer is a mid to late game, very, very good, and a lot of late game battles with Cannoneer. So that's just a quick summary of that. And to answer that question, basically what I would say is you need to kind of follow this specific pattern. So if you're going airman, you get some upgrades here throughout your airman tree. So you get AT gun upgrades, you get a lot of bonus attack and stuff like that. And then for airmen, you also get Flak 36 upgrades as well. I'm not sure exactly where. But you do get them in this tree. So for airmen, if you're going to run airmen, either you can use the army that it gives you just throughout doing quests like these, where it just gives you medium tanks and light tanks and stuff, and then make some occasional stugs and just kind of chill until you get to level 10. Or you can go about rushing those flak or AT guns and having a pretty devastating army that way. For me personally, I just go the basic army, and then once I get to 10, I tech into bombers. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right here. But yeah, that's for airmen. If you wanted to run tanker, it's pretty easy to transition. You get a bunch of upgrades in tanker for stugs, as well as like light tanks and all of your tanks really. But typically early game, you either want to go light tanks or medium tanks until you get up to, well, for a while actually. Even if you get level 8 city, it's going to take some while to get tigers out, which is your end goal. Tigers and King Tiger army. That's pretty much what a tanker goes for. But basically, you're going to want to pick either light tanks or medium tanks. And you're going to need to pick up some officers. I've done videos on both of them now. So if you are curious which officers, you can go look at those videos. You go those and you do nothing but that. You can run stugs, but I find that they slow you down quite a bit if you're going to be running on the ground. So it's up to you. But light tanks, medium tanks, and then you tech into tigers and king tigers. And then for cannoneer, you're going to go M101 howitzers. You basically use the basic army until you get these howitzers unlocked. And then if you don't have a big league, like say your league isn't inside of your battlefield, it's going to be kind of hard to get a league city up. So basically, you're going to want to just stick with the M101s for a while, and then tech into M40s and flak. But if you can't do that, you can go, or say you have a big league, you're in a global with 20 league members, you could just use the basic army right into M40s. So that's kind of the transition, and that's kind of what you should do teching into it. So to answer the specific question, it depends on what you want to do. Any one of the three things I just mentioned there's pros and cons to each one of them. Like I've been tanker before, and now I'm switching to airman, and I might switch to cannoneer sometime in the future. They're all just as good as each other. There's advantages and disadvantages. I made a video on that too, if you want to see that. But basically what you want to do is whenever you find that one unit or that one tree you're going for, you want to start putting some technology into them. Like for example, my jets, since I'm running airmen, my jets, I wanted to max them out. I have all the officers for the jets, and these things are devastating. And now I'm focusing on my strat bombers. I'm switching from avros to strats, so I'm focused on getting these upgraded up as quick as I can to make them really devastating as well. And then from there, I'm going to focus on flak, and that's about it for airmen. And then I can start focusing on either my early game units or whatever once that's done. But that's kind of how I do it. And if you're going to run tanker, you want to get your tigers up. Where are they? You want to get your tigers up as quick as you can. Your light tanks or your mediums, I think, are a little more important. But you got to basically upgrade those three, and then you need to upgrade your flak as well. Flak 41, wherever they went. And then for cannoneer, just upgrade M101s and your M40s. It takes a long time for these to max out. As you can see, the costs get pretty up there. So you just keep teching into that, and that's it. And I think the biggest thing is finding a tech tree that you want to be able to put cash into, because there are officers out there that give you pretty crazy freaking bonuses. There's officers that you absolutely need if you're going to try to fight high level players. Like for example, let me show you this guy. Say you're running tanker and you don't have this guy. He gives you like plus 35% or something against vehicle, HP plus 35%. Like, you're going to go against somebody, if you don't have this officer and you're fighting light tank versus light tank, they're going to win. You can outnumber them and they can still win with this officer. So you need to find that army that you can settle down with and be able to purchase $50, $60, $70 worth of officers for, and then play that army. And if you're playing that army, you're playing the best tank you can be versus somebody, the best player in the world's cannon. If they're both maxed out, they're both the same army. Even though he's got every other army maxed too, you're just mitigating how much money you have to spend if you just focus on one type of troop. So I hope that answered your question, and thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. This is Peety. If you got any more questions, drop them in the comments and I'll make videos about them. Thank you. Peety out.